And welcome back to Straight Talk. So, what we talked about before the break was
Registries,
a sexual
sexual assault. Predators.
sexual predator registry, or somebody was convicted of a sexual crime and have a registry. We already talked about Canada and how it is the law is that you can't do anything, but in this community, it's the same thing. We still have to be careful, but we have several people in this community who were convicted. Some spent time, some haven't, for sexual crimes.
Yeah,
and
horrendous things.
And some with children, and they're in this community. Some people know who they are, some don't. It's a tough situation. But what do you do? You know what I mean? It's hard. Years ago, though, I had mentioned about that gentleman from Massachusetts, who has family here, and you know what? I still, what Carl done was 100%. It should have been done. It shouldn't have been done by him, but it should have been done by the Mohawk Council at least. If the police weren't able to do it because of their duties, the Mohawk Council had a duty to this community to do something right away. They knew at the beginning of the week that this person was in this community, and they'd done nothing. They sat there and waited because the police said let them deal with it. But the council should be the voice of reasoning for the whole community. The police are worried about the legal part of it. Mohawk Council should be worried about this whole community and all the kids in it, but they weren't. I can't say that they weren't. They probably were, but they didn't do anything about it. What they should have done at the beginning of the week was what they done at the end of the week, once it came on television and once it came in the paper, is to have a letter delivered and tell this person to leave the community. They only done it now because the information came out in the paper. Years ago, I'll say in the 90s, maybe the mid 90s, we had a lot of people coming in and out of this community because of what had happened. And the same situation, another gentleman came into this community with a long history as a sexual predator and spent years and years and years behind bars. He was related to somebody in this community. The jail even called us and said that this person is going there and be careful and watch out.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a dilemma. What do we do, as a police department? And we had a meeting. We talked about it, and for us, we're like, just get rid of him. I know it's hard to put him onto somebody else, but get him out of our community, whatever we can. So anyway, the information went to the Mohawk Council. The Mohawk Council, at meeting with our administration at the time, decided that, okay, we're going to send this person a letter. We're going to hand deliver this person a letter and escort him out of the community. And that's basically what happened. So it was done there. When it was done then, here's your letter now. Go.
Mm-hmm.
And then just notify, because there was nothing to do. There was no warrants for him, nothing. He spent his time.
But let me ask you, the same thing that ties the hands of, say, the peacekeepers when it comes to this issue of limited warrants and so on, how come it does, and we talked about the fact is that if you expose somebody and said that guy next to the playground, you could be charged.
But you see,
what allows the council or anybody to do that?
Well, you're not publicizing anything. You're only saying that, look, we're aware that you're in this community, you're an undesirable in this community, and we don't want you in this community. And this is what you're going to do. If the person chooses not to leave, it becomes another issue. But in most cases, they leave.
Yeah.
So in those both, like, they're two different, similar situation, two different scenarios.
Well, why some and not others?
Well, like those.
The guy from Massachusetts. One reason he's gone is because his cover was blown.
Yeah.
Right. And so he felt suddenly like the light was on, and so he was like cockroaches run, you run.
Yeah.
But there are others that people know about, and they continue to be here, and nobody says, to those people, get out.
Yeah, you know what, I think that, like, fortunately or unfortunately, somebody from our community opposed to somebody not from our community, the scale is the scale tips one way or another. You know, and we talked about that. And it's a hard situation.
There was a person here who's here with a band number only.
Wow.
That's well, whatever.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I can't say any more, but
yeah.
but there's a lot that are in here and in their community.
Anyways, and the more the community feels exposed, I mean, that's one of the things, is that in the last 30 years, 40 years ago, this community was still rather intimate, in the sense that everybody really did know who everybody was.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, if somebody came in from outside, people kind of they key into somebody, an unfamiliar face. But now, I mean, the people are using the roads, they're coming in for whatever, doing business, whatever.
Yeah.
They want to do business. But then there's fears. Is that there have been these stories about somebody tried to coax a kid into a van, and so it's hard. I mean,
it happens in a lot of communities where I guess we're fortunate here that it's never really happened. I'm not saying that it's never attempted to happen, where somebody would try to I guess kidnap a child or abduct a child.
That has maybe happened.
Well, I mean, if it's not family, I'm talking about somebody like not from our community, but it's so simple to do in our community because all the highways are right so close that it's a snatch and grab, and you know, unless somebody sees it, it's hard to deal with. Anyway, that's another subject that we would have to, you know, hopefully we never will have to touch it. Anyway, be careful and make sure you know where your kids are.
Yeah.
And be careful. But getting on to that issue of with the policing and stuff like that, I mean, there was another issue recently with the policing issue. And again, it's like, I'm not bashing the police, but the thing is, everything is happening now surrounding that and why. Some people are asking questions about different things. But the Mike DeGagne situation is scary. It's scary.
Oh, hang on. MUC is conducting surveillance in Kahnawake, okay? Apparently, joking about it with Mike when he's being interviewed, okay, about the work he's had done on his house. So these guys are here. Is it with impunity? Are they going around the existing protocols or not? Or what exactly are the protocols? Those things come up into question. And again, as you say, and this isn't about the guys on the road. This isn't about the guys, you know, patrolling the community. It comes down to what decisions are being made at an administrative level, what kind of things, what do people know about what's happening with things like that at the Mohawk Council level, that goes on in the community. Because it really does say something. One of the things it says to me is that, like, if the chief peacekeeper says, oh, well, we don't enforce, we told them we don't enforce that law here. Well, people say, well, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, to me, you know, really read between the lines. What you're saying is, obviously, if you look at what happened to Mike DeGagne, obviously what you're saying is, we don't do that, you guys don't have to do that, but we'll go get them for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway.
And then you have a Mohawk Council chief going on air, going on the record, saying, well, you know, I heard about that, and but you know, I don't really know anything about it. But the guy's been he's had the peacekeeping portfolio at some of his terms. You know, I don't understand what's going on there. But those guys, guys like Mike, the guys in the tobacco industry, now you're gonna have to watch yourself, because I don't think you're gonna be able to count on the Mohawk Council, and sadly, I don't think you're gonna be able to count on the PKs, and they're tied up as.
Anyway, it opened a new can of worms, and we'll talk about that. And again, we're winding down for a break, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these messages.